Hey there, Parker Vibe peeps. So I am back with another witchy moment with Wendy. Woo woo. Alright, so a fun witchy moment with Wendy. So for my Parker Vibe peeps that have been following me for a while, you guys just recently asked me to start making merch. So ask and thou shalt receive. So I started small, guys. I started small. I'm just up and coming. And I started with spirit boards. Spirit boards are something that are near and dear to my heart. It is something that I am passionate about. A lot of people are intimidated by spirit boards. And why is that? Why are you guys scared of a spirit board? So, you want to know why? You want to know why you're scared? It's lack of education, you guys. It's just lack of education. That's all it is. The things that we don't know scare us. They make us afraid, right? A fear of the unknown. But that's okay. That's fine. Because I'm here to educate you on that. So, one of the things that I've recently started making is spirit boards as part of my merch. And so what I do is I hand paint them. And they already have like a stencil in the back, so that I have something to go off of. But I do hand paint them just to add like a personal touch, a little extra pizzazz. And what do I do with these boards? So what I do, I add a protection symbol, so that helps protect your board. And then I also add love and positivity to your board right here with that symbol right here. And that is the symbol that I also have tattooed on the inner part of my wrist. And so the point of talking about this today, guys, is just to bring awareness. I don't want you guys to be afraid of this little board. You have control over it. It's just a little board. You are the one that gives it the power. You are the one that controls how it's used. And by me educating you, you're going to feel comfortable on how to use your board, okay? So what are some rules that you need to know about the spirit board? There are some, okay? One of the rules are you never want to store your pendulum and your spirit board together, okay? It's opening up that line of communication, so you don't want to store it together, right? You want to store them separate. And just like all things that are worth having, we want to take care of our things, right? So you want to store it in a dry, safe place, a place where other people aren't going to be touching it, because the whole point of the spirit board, guys, is this is yours. This is only yours. So that means that you are setting the intention for the board. You are cleansing the board. You are putting your energy on it. So you don't want anybody else to touch this and be able to transfer their negative energy onto your board, okay? So whenever you use your board, you're saging beforehand, you're saging after. You're taking care of your board. You're not letting anybody else touch it. And another food for thought, if you guys are sick, if you're sick and you're not well, you should not be doing any, I repeat, 0 magic, because you are not yourself whenever you are not well. So you need to be 100% in order to receive those messages. And there's nothing wrong with taking a little mental health day, month, whatever you need to get back to feeling yourself. Because it's super important. If you can't, it goes back to that, the plane going down, and you have to put the mask on yourself first before you can help anybody else on the plane. It's the same thing. Guys, self-care is just as important as everybody else. You know, we care for everybody. We need to care for ourselves. It's just as important. Our needs are just as important as everybody else's. Okay, guys? I'm going to get off my soapbox. But that is just something that I want you guys to know, that whenever you're not well, you should not be practicing magic. You shouldn't be doing readings, because it takes energy out of you. And you want to be in a place where you can receive those messages from your loved ones and from God. And it's just like being in any type of conversation, right? Like do you really want to be present in a conversation where the person is looking away, they're not really acknowledging you, they're not listening to the words that are coming out of your mouth? Like, you don't want to be in a relationship like that. And that's the same thing. Like, you want every interaction to be genuine, every interaction to be of full, pure heart. And so sometimes when we don't feel well, we're not ourselves, mentally, physically, spiritually. That's okay. It's okay. We are human. We're human, and we are allowed to have off days. We're allowed to not feel well. But that's where it's important that we take that time that we need to get ourselves back to what we need to do. And you guys, that's something that I'm learning for myself. I genuinely have my own health concerns, and I really, really have to work hard at making sure that my body has everything that it needs, because I can't give back if I'm not taking care of me, you know? So, fun little food for thought on that. But back to the spirit boards. So, what is some fun things that I've been doing with these? So, I started doing a fun little Parker Vibes signature. So you guys get my signature there. You get hand-painted details. Lots of love, blessings on your board. And guys, this is a way to communicate with your spirit guides. So what is another rule that you need to know? So before you end your conversation with your spirit board, okay? 1, before you communicate with the spirits, make sure you're thinking about what you want to know. Not just thinking about what you want to know, but also think about, do you want the answer to that question that you're asking? Because you may get an answer that you may not want to hear. So be prepared. Whatever question you have for that spirit board, be open to receive that message, guys, okay? It's not always things that we want to hear. Other things. Always make sure before you end your board, always say goodbye. Always. And it's very simple. There's nothing complicated about it. Whenever you are ready to be done talking with spirit, all you need to do is go over and say bye. That's it. Just say bye. Make sure you say bye. That ends your conversation with spirit, and you're good to go. You ended your conversation. It's done. It's over. And that line of communication is no longer open because you said bye. So just make sure whenever you are talking to your spirits, okay? Always say bye when you end that conversation. End it, okay? Another thing, when you are talking to spirits, guys, spirits are people too. They are still people, which means spirits get their feelings hurt. Spirits sometimes don't find jokes that we make funny. You know, guys, we have to be mindful that those are people too. And so whenever we go poking fun at a spirit board, you're going to make some spirits upset. So anytime you have an interaction with a spirit board, be respectful. Be respectful, because you're reaching out to elders for their advice. And you wouldn't disrespect an elderly person, right? So we wouldn't disrespect our spirits either. So make sure that you're being respectful of their time. Ask them things that they're gonna know, things. Sometimes when you're off the wall with silly, ridiculous questions, they're like, come on now. That's not okay. So remember, they're people too. We're not wasting their time. Our time's important too. We don't want to waste theirs. And keeping it positive, upbeat, not asking negative questions, things like that. Don't go poking the bear. You know what I mean? Don't kick a hornet's nest. And that's how you'll have safety always with your board. You have the control.